Intelligence brings success, yeah. Understand yourself and others and love your pets, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. The Emotional Pet Guy's back. It's been a bit of a hiatus, so I apologize for that. Life comes at you fast, and we got things we need to make sure we get done. But this show, I'm excited about because this is one of my best friends. Played college football with him. Not only did I play college football with him, he was also a linebacker, same year as me, from North Carolina like me, and literally, he knows this, but he got on my nerves so bad freshman year because I was miserable. And what you'll find out about my man Mark Thompson right here, that he's never miserable. He's always in a good mood. He's always up. And when I was miserable stretching, and he was telling jokes, and it used to make me mad. But the beautiful part of it is that our relationship has always been intact. We actually played Canadian football together. We've been connected since college in a lot of ways that most people probably never understand. But we went to the Montreal Alouettes together, played up there for a season. We got cut together. Like everything was together. It was crazy. So that's why it's a beautiful thing to have Mark on today. And everybody say hello to Mark Thompson. So Mark, man, how you doing?
How you doing? I'm good, man. Glad to be here. Glad to be on the podcast with the Emotional Pet Guy, man. I've been watching you and following you and watching your journey, man. This is awesome, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you on here, man. And we hadn't been connected in a while, and I'll blame that on me. I'm terrible. I'm a bit of an island, and it's something I'm working on. You've always reached out, but we talked a couple weeks ago, and I was like, man, I got to get you on the podcast. Number one, just to reminisce a little bit and let people know what a real relationship between men looks like.
Right.
And then number two, you got a lot going on from your Career Transformation Academy. You got Taylor Plus One, a lot of businesses, man, and you are a tenured HR professional. So I think it's a lot that we can take out of this from an emotional intelligence perspective. So that's what we're going to do, man. So the first question I got for you, tell me about growing up in Fayetteville, man, and what made you you. He's from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm from Concord, North Carolina. We didn't know each other until college, but we've been connected since. So tell me about growing up, man, and how do you how was Mark Thompson that person now from what he grew up in Fayetteville?
Man, let me tell you, Fayetteville was not a safe place. A lot of people look at me and they'll be like, man, you from Fayetteville? How'd you get out of there? I mean, honestly, when I look back on it as a kid, I thought it was normal. The conditions that was around me, the things that I saw. If I told my child what I saw at her age back then, she wouldn't be able to survive. But Fayetteville was it was my city. It's what I grew up. My parents, I did have my mother and my father there. So that was rare. I didn't know that was rare growing up. But both of them supported me, raised me right. They beat me up when I did wrong. I thought I was a bad kid compared to most kids, but I was actually on the up and up. But in Fayetteville, I was always a big fish in a small pond, and I thank my parents for that because my parents exposed me to more things. They took me into Disney World. I've been to Disney World 4 times before I hit the age of 12.
Wow.
Most kids never see the beach in North Carolina at all. They don't even drive. It's only like 2 hours away from Fayetteville. But I had been to Philly. I had been to New York. I had traveled around the East Coast as much as my parents could get me. But that exposure showed me at a younger age, for a while, 3, 4 years old, I thought the tallest building in the world was in Fayetteville, and it's 5 stories high.
For sure.
It isn't until you get out and get exposed to different things, I recognize my purpose is bigger than Fayetteville. As a kid, I knew I had great things. One of the things I went to school for, this degree does not match anything I do today, but I went to school and I said I wanted to be an athletic director. I wanted to be on that world. But when I was 13, I told my mom, I'm going to be in HR, getting paid more money than you with my own desk, and I'm not going to do any work. I'm going to do way less work than you do. And lo and behold, as the times have changed and switched around, I'm sitting at my desk in HR.
Beautiful.
Doing a lot of work, doing way less work than she did and making way more money than she did, just because I had put that out there in that atmosphere back when I was 13. So I knew my paths were leading me to this space, and everything I did, I knew Fayetteville was not it. Fayetteville's a beautiful place to come from because it has a lot of history from where my parents, where my friends, some of my friends are still there now. But I had a mind at a young age that it was put in me from birth that I need to be somewhere else. I have things to do. I have people to serve, in this world.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. And that's one of the things that I admired about you as well as your family. Your mom and dad been married for a long time. I didn't have that example. Had a great mother. Father wasn't
Hmm.
present, and even with your brother, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I see your brother and have a relationship with him, and that's how you guys as a family, how welcoming and how loving you guys are. I see your brother on Facebook and joke back with him all the time. And I didn't go to
Yeah.
college with him, so I appreciate that. And your mom and dad being always around and being present, I can obviously see how that impacted you and why you are who you are. So that's a beautiful thing, man, for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
man. Yeah, man.
so tell me about HR. You've been in HR for what, almost 20 years now, right?
20 years, man. Been in HR 20 years. Felon. And here's the thing. Had no idea how I was going to get in there. And people ask me, how'd you get into HR? I said, God, there's no way I would have known that. And this is what Richmond did. This is a crazy thing that Richmond actually played a part in me getting into HR. When we finished playing in Montreal, I came back home and I uploaded a resume that I thought was okay on Monster. We didn't have LinkedIn back then. We had monster.com. So I uploaded my resume on Monster. Guy called me. He said, "Hey, I went to University of New Hampshire. I played football there. I see you played at Richmond. Let's talk." We talked football for 20 minutes. And then at the end, he said, "Oh, I forgot. There's a job for you at Fidelity Investments if you want it." Well, I said, "Yeah, sign me. I need a
Absolutely.
job. I'm not making no money. I'm sitting here in Fayetteville, twiddling my thumbs, spending all the rest of the little savings I got from Montreal." And I said, "I'll go ahead and get it started on a new career. Just see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen." That was the start of my journey where I started learning bits and pieces of HR from 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007 until today. Every piece of HR, every spectrum was given or actually put in my lap from just my growth and experience from coming from a entry level rep to being a team lead to being a senior person to a team lead to a senior manager to now being a director. All of that stuff just started
Beautiful.
folding and unfolding. It's like, wow, what I said when I was 13 started happening in 2004 and then got me to where I am today. So now I'm in this space where, okay, I got 20 years worth of knowledge in HR. How do I share that with the world? How do I give that
Yeah.
back to people who need it and understand that this is a good book over here. Your purpose is calling. Like I have a purpose to give that knowledge back now.
Man, that's a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
man. So when I think of HR, I think of
Mhm.
benefits and other things, but give us a little deeper dive into to how big HR is, how important it is, and then I'm gonna ask you some emotional intelligence questions about HR and what
Mhm.
you think as a director.
Yeah.
What does HR really encompass? Because I think if you're not in HR, you have a view of what HR is. HR may be
Yeah.
the people that fire you or whatever. So what
Exactly.
really
That's
is
the
it?
first thing people say when they say HR. Oh, you hire and fire people. I'm like, no, that's not. That's a piece of the job, but those decisions are made from the CEOs. Those are
Hmm.
made from the executives, and those are then actions that are given to the HR managers. HR is pretty much the glue in between the employee and the leadership to make sure that policies are adhered to make sure that employees understand how they can go to get help or need help or support. HR will actually facilitate conversations on the hiring and firing, but they're not the ones that hire and fire unless you may have a smaller company. Smaller companies will take HR. But when you talk about
Sure.
bigger corporations like a Cisco, Fidelity, the glue, the pieces that make terminating, hiring, acquisitions, all of those are actually separated. There's a separate team for each action in HR. So whether you want to get hired, there is an acquisition team, a talent acquisition team. Benefits, there's a whole separate benefits team. There's a whole comp team. There's a whole payroll team. My team is HR operations, which I have the team that actually knows all the details. So when an employee has a
What's the name of
question,
your team? I'm sorry.
they employee services.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah, employee services. So when you have a question about your HR, you call my team. And that's been the same way at Fidelity, Cisco, and at Panasonic. So we all have a dedicated support area, but we actually are more triage. So we're getting people to the right places to get the right support because there are so many layers. Like I just gave you a couple layers, but you can get down to performance management, talent management. Um, I mean, the list is numerous. Anything you can think of, from immigration to your I-9s, to your
Wow.
background checks, to your social security. I mean, it is anything you can think of that is a line item in your, when you do a background check or I-9 verification form. That's a substance. That's a piece. That is somebody has to enter that into a system to make sure you're actually an employee and you are the governance behind it is solidified. Then you got taxes. That's a whole other piece of it as well. So I can't do it all, but I know who to go to, and I think that's a
Sure.
big role of where I've been an expert at is finding out who needs to get it and how we need to get it to the right team fast. So yeah.
Now, how does it feel being a man in HR? Because I mean, I was with a big corporation for a while before I came out entrepreneurship. I didn't see many black males. Is that just my perception on the company I was with, or is that the case?
It's the same. It's the same. I think one of the things when I even look at companies, I look for diversity, but also try to see where the mix between male, females, are there more people like me, people of color? We have a good mix at Panasonic. We actually have a great mix, but the mix between male and female is more higher female. You will see more females in human resources. And, I don't know why that is, but it's actually, pretty cool because women get stuff done. Women
For
get
sure.
stuff done.
Yeah, for sure. So
I think we would be too more direct with a lot of men, but women get a lot of stuff done.
yeah, it makes sense. I can imagine that, especially when you're dealing with humans and the different
Right.
facets of life that people go through. Because you have your career that you come to work, but then you got a life outside of that definitely affects your work.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that I'll jump into that with the podcast Emotional Pet Guy being about emotional intelligence. You read stats all the time. If you're somebody like me that's interested in emotional intelligence and growing as a coach and things that I incorporate into my life, you see stats that the most successful leaders in corporations are high on emotional intelligence scale. People, I think it's a $30,000 increments of the more you go up in emotional intelligence, the more money you make. Do you see that on the ground level? And especially with you being a man in a female dominated field, it's definitely something I'm sure you rely on. But does emotional intelligence come into what you do, and do you see that? Does that make sense?
I do. I do. I definitely see that. I see that with my own employees. My right now I had 2 employees, but there's a lot of conversation that we have to have when it comes to just being transparent. So me as a manager have to open the doors of transparency to allow them to be received. What I did last year before I even got this job, actually once I got this job, I finished a life coaching certification because I wanted to be able to receive more.
Sure.
I was good at giving advice, but I said, I don't want to give advice as much. Let me pull back to learn how to receive my employees better so that way we can connect better and then have an understanding of how to grow and move forward. That's been a lot of, how my team has actually grown because the connection has grown there. That emotional intelligence in the workplace to help them understand that I'm here for you, not only just at work, but I'm here for you personally as well to help you grow and be the best person that you can be. And that also comes in within me understanding who I am. So the more I understand who I am, what I deliver, what I can give, I'm not just going to put, okay, you need to be doing this. I'm going to be like, okay, let me understand you. Let me let you understand who I am. And when we come together, now we understand how we can move. It's a concert now. We're just moving synchronized. Like my employee right now can call me and ping me about anything. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I hear you. Let me help you. As a matter of fact, let me step in for you because now she sees that I have her back. I have her back on any situation. When people trust you on that matter, they'll go to war for you. So now I have a team within a year that's just accelerated beyond what they expected. Well beyond what they've expected as far as our expectations, our goals, our numbers, and we're just rock solid. We went from getting escalations every day to I'm not hearing a word. Maybe once
Beautiful.
a quarter. And that also comes with me actually showcasing that, okay, I'm going to put my foot down in the areas that no one else has before. And you guys are now understanding I'm your leader. It's been a great change for the team though.
So what does that look like with after COVID and everybody working from home? It's much easier to build those relationships and motivate your team face to face. How have you been able to change that working from home and everybody being remote for the most part?
Well, I kind of transitioned this kind of right after COVID was kind of on that decline, but at Cisco, it was important for me to have more connection. We had more meetings. We actually had more events. We had to do more things outside of the box. We had to do more. Let's what kudos could I give out and shout out to the team to show that I'm present and I'm here? Because that digital world, if nobody's in the office with you, then maybe
Sure.
I can just lay back a little bit and not do anything.
Sure.
So I had to showcase it, like, hey, I'm here. I'm seeing you guys every day. I'm saying what's up every morning, or how's everybody doing? Everybody doing good. Be great. Be at it. It was a lot of motivational content that I was sending, almost like social media today. Is where I had to get involved with the team. That resonated a lot because we were in a different time. I think we're in a different world. And that type of support is necessary even without, COVID. It was needed the entire time. So it's been important. I think that's been a highlight of my managerial career, to really show people how to be supported and how to be almost loved in the workplace as well. We
Sure.
don't get it as much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure you're good at that, man. Just going back on our relationship over the years, you always been a connector. You talk to anybody, so I'm sure it is not
Yeah.
tough for you. So let's take a step back. You're a father. You got a beautiful daughter named Taylor. Tell me about being a father, man, and raising your daughter with your parents' example in this world we're in. Tell us about that, man, and what really drives you there.
Man, it's a beautiful thing. Having a daughter at first, I was like, man, I want a son so bad. But I know that I have a daughter for a reason. She's here to show me something. Everybody on this earth is here to show us something
Yep.
and show us what we are supposed to be doing. But my daughter is probably the best ray of sunshine I've ever had in my life. So she's changed me in so many different ways. I mean, just ways that I could never imagine that I needed to be. And I need to be that reason for her. So I'm a voice for her. I'm more compassionate. I'm passionate. How you have a son, you're like, hey, get over here. Let's wrestle. Let me beat you up a little bit. With her, I gotta literally be like, come here, let's hug. Let's just hug for no reason. I just know you need a hug. And she does the same thing for me. I mean, like I said, having a daughter is amazing. I will be sitting there watching TV and my daughter would just tap me on the shoulder and give me a kiss and run off. And I needed it.
Yeah, for sure.
I needed it. So I see where I impact her, but I'm also showcasing to her a life that she has. Well, my parents put a foundation into me. I think parents are more quiet. Our parents are quiet. They sit back. They'll give you a little bit of words and they go do their business because they're doing what it takes to make you live and survive. Whereas today, I'm doing that, but now I got to have a conversation.
Sure.
I got to build a foundation. And my daughter pray. She went from elementary school prayer to now she's praying like a saint in the church,
It's amazing.
But it's a foundation because I'm teaching her you need to submit to authority to somebody, whether it's me or your higher power, that you understand it is not you by yourself. You don't live in this world by yourself. You can't make all these decisions. You need support. And I think that's what's been it's not a huge difference because it was there with my family, but I think it is definitely important for me to kind of solidify in her that she has the rights to make great decisions and be a great person on this earth. And it don't start till you get older. It starts right now.
Yeah. How old is Taylor now, man?
She's 7, man. Second grader.
Yeah, time's flying. I agree with you. I have 2 daughters. I probably wasn't the best father. Hannah is 18 now. I probably wasn't the best father in my 30s. So I'm trying to make up for that with Eliza, who's 4 now. But yeah, I mean, they do that for you. Daddy, I want a hug. And a lot of times it's when I'm not having a great day and she says that, and it definitely pulls something out of you that you needed. So I agree with you, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So before we jump into your business endeavors and all the things you got going on as an entrepreneur, what motivates you, man? Like at the bottom level, what do you need? What motivates you?
Well, what motivates me is my faith, number one, and my daughter. I named my business after them, Taylor Plus One. Taylor Plus One is Taylor and God. So anybody want to ask me that, I said that's my motivation. So every day I'm living for my faith. I wasn't a big faith guy in college at all. It was there. It was a foundation. But as I've gotten older, it's been a tremendous change to my journey, but it also has helped me propel areas of my life that I never would have been exposed to had I not, put God first. I know everybody's not super religious or spiritual, but, believing in something is a start. And that right there for me, that's my motivation. I wake up every morning. It's like, thank you, God. Just everything I got,
Yeah.
every little piece of this world and everything that we believe in and live in, like to have a job that I have, to be able to take care of my daughter. It's the motivation that I get to do this today where most people don't. And it's just as simple as waking up. It's just as simple as, going to work and working from home, driving a car, going to pick up my daughter. That is a privilege. And I appreciate every small thing in life. And that actually motivates me, that fuels me, that makes me feel like life is amazing, because there's so many people don't have this opportunity. There's so many people that don't have these small opportunities, or even a small percentage of me doing simple things in my life. So I'm appreciative of just every day, man.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I grew up in church, didn't pay attention much, was running around outside doing whatever I shouldn't have been doing. But as I've gotten older, and a huge piece of emotional intelligence it's emotional intelligence is a bit of a young field, right? I think
Right.
it was founded in the late '80s, early '90s, and people still. I say emotional intelligence to some people, and it's a negative reaction because you think they're telling you emotional, right? And emotion isn't a bad thing, but a
No.
big part of emotional intelligence that you're starting to see come out, and I'm excited about, is faith. What do you believe in? And
Right.
yeah, my wife pulled it out of me. We've been together 14, going on 15 years, and she's been in the church all her life, but definitely more attached and grounded. And that's back probably what 11, 12 years ago is when I got saved and really started taking it serious. And even now I'm still growing in that and being
Right.
obedient. That's what I keep hearing these days is obedience. And
Obedience.
I ain't been obedient. I don't know. I haven't, right? But that's the change I'm
Mhm.
making. So man, I respect that. I agree with you on that level, that you got to have a foundation there. That gets you out the bed every day and allows you to treat people the
Mhm.
right way, no matter what's going on with you. So that's a
Right.
beautiful thing, man. So let's jump into the entrepreneurship. You got Career Transformation Academy that you're launching,
Yep.
or launched already, and
Yep.
you're about to do some big things with that. And then Taylor Plus One, man. So I know what motivates you. I know you're a great father. I know you're a family
Mhm.
man. You're an HR executive, or becoming one. And
Mhm.
so why these new business endeavors? Tell us about them.
Well, it's funny, you take steps in life and you think, wow, I got a new career, I'm making more money, I should be happy. And I was sitting there thinking, you know, God is speaking to me. I'm like, I want generational wealth. I want to start the process of generational wealth. And generational wealth is not about me. It's about my
Yeah,
kids
for
and my
sure.
kids' kids. How do I start that? You try to stand on your parents' shoulders and go from there. And then my kids have to stand on my shoulders and so forth and
Hmm.
so on. And I was like, okay, I'm making pretty decent money, but this isn't generational wealth. This is just today. This satisfies me today. And maybe if my kid goes to college, but it's not my grandkids. It's
Yeah.
not my children's children. It's
Hmm.
not that legacy that's there. And I said, I got to figure out more ways to bring in income, because it's a goal. It's always been a goal of mine, but I was like, I couldn't figure it out. Could not figure it out for my life. And last year, I was like, man, I've been doing graphic designs for 15 years. Just
Hmm.
something I just played around with, taught myself how to do. I said, I can create t-shirts. You know what? Let me start a t-shirt business. So I started Taylor Plus One last year, started launching around May of this year. And I got into that world and recognized I have no idea what I'm doing. I got the website, I got the Instagram. I'm just following what people tell me to do. Etsy pages. So t-shirts out there available for people to buy, but the whole marketing piece slapped me in the face. Like, okay, yeah, you got to market this stuff. You actually got to create this as a brand. You got to get people to like what's going on. And I didn't want to be the face of it at all. Like, I don't want to face. I just want to sell t-shirts. People do it all the time. Etsy is the way to do it, but not on Facebook, not on. Yeah, you got to have a face on there. So
Sure.
as I was going through that, I recognized, okay, I've got a business started. The crazy thing is, when I started the business, I put on there that it was also Taylor Plus One Consulting. So it dawned on me later on that I was watching this course online. And I was like, wait a minute, I got 20 years of HR experience. I know how to interview. I know how to give interviews. I know how to tell people what to do. I know how to build your resume. I've had over at least 150 employees over my tenure
Wow.
that I've helped with their career growth and gotten them into better jobs and higher paying jobs, just off talking to me without having a platform or principle
Amazing.
together. And this is how I take that business and say, okay, I can form this business into another business.
Sure.
Taylor Plus One is the head, but now I have Taylor Plus One Clothing and I have Taylor Plus One Consulting under that, and now we have Career Transformation Academy. So as I was thinking about my purpose and tying all these together, I have experience, I have design capabilities, I can create a logo in 10 minutes. Putting all the pieces together, it's like, who needs this? There's a need.
Everybody.
College kids.
Yeah.
I want college kids. I want especially HBCUs. If you look at the statistics there of how well they're able to get into a position right out of college versus any other race out there, it's a very low percentage. Now, anybody can take my course is what I have available, but it is a need in that area, in that field. So I created a course to really help anybody from career transitioning, from military coming back into the workforce, for early in career, for executive folks who trying to get higher up in the group as well, climb that ladder, to really take a course that starts you from the beginning, starting with your mindset. So we talk about emotional intelligence. Your mindset is
Huge.
supremely important
Yeah.
in far as you growing into that space, but then going through the entire process of building your network, changing your resume that is optimal for what AI is doing. AI is searching and finding your resume. It's really not the recruiter anymore. AI is doing it. And once they find that information, now what do you say in the interview? How do you speak in the interview? What do you need to say to actually stand out past all the candidates? And then what happens after that? You get the job. Or how do you negotiate the salary? How do you work with the manager? How do you thrive in a new community and culture? So I've gone through every step, and my course is laying that out for any individual that is ready to take that next leap. And really think about it from a space of, what do you dream? What do you dream your next job is? Like, you can get there and it's all inside you already. There's nothing else you got to acquire. It's already inside you. And I think a lot of people don't know that. And that was a journey I went through last year. It took me about 6 months to figure this out. And that's how I got to Panasonic. I was at Cisco for 14 years, and I thought 14 years was enough. It wasn't. It's really me piecing everything together so that way I now speak, talk, look, and feel like where I want to be. And that's what I've designed for people to use. So if you want to jump on with Career Transformation Academy, jump on today. This is something that is real simple, is real cost efficient, that we're, providing for anybody who wants to jump on, and it's for a lifetime. This is not a course that we have for just a couple of weeks or a small period. It is a lifetime course because we want to help people out for the rest of their life.
It's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, and
Yeah.
because I agree, because I'm kind of experiencing that now. I started as an entrepreneur 10 years ago, founded a company that had no clue what I was doing. Now I know what I'm doing from a pet industry perspective, but now I'm in a new franchising industry, and I've started all over. So I've had to reach out, I've had to find mentors, I've had to connect with people, and I'm still not good at that. That's probably my biggest weakness, is connecting. Not because I don't want to, I just get busy and I don't want to bother people. But it's a beautiful thing that you put a package together for individuals to advance in their life. Right? We call it career, but it really is your life, your career. I mean, at some point, that's the foundation of what you're doing. So it's a beautiful thing that you packaged all that up. So have you launched it yet?
I am in beta state. Is my video out? It looks like it.
You frozen a little bit, but it's all good. We can hear you.
Okay. I'm in beta stage right now, but January 1st, 2024 should be fully live with everything that we have going on. So excited about all that. But right now I am pulling people in, doing one-on-ones with them before we actually have the full course available. Everything is pretty laid out. So I'm doing some more recordings and getting everything official to make sure everybody's just getting what they need. So we have so many resources. So it's not just me. I actually have a team. I have a team that's a recruiter. Erica Cox on my team. She's been doing recruiting for 20 years. I have a actual life coach, or a coach I call, who's going to help with that mindset piece. She's been doing it for 15 years. So combine, all these experiences together. We've been doing this for 55 years. So we got a lot of experience here that we want to add value. So you to think about that when you come onto this program, you're going to get top-notch, high quality, high value information. And that is super important to our program and to everybody who joins.
Got you, man. So do you foresee this staying on the individual level where you're interacting with the people that come to you, or do you see you rolling it out to universities or corporations? Yeah. What do you see? What's the goal there?
Yeah, so I would say my heaven, what I call a heaven avatar, is really to get this to universities. So, and also corporate companies, because you got to think, a lot of people have layoffs, and they want to give a package to terminated employees that helps them actually get to the next job or another career. And this is an opportunity to build this course up now at this ground level where I can get this organic traffic. But now how do I package it and get it to corporate? How do I get it to these universities? And then speak to folks about, what we have, but also this is how it's going to benefit a college graduate right after school. Let's get them into the program ASAP, and allow them to actually get the skill sets they need, because now, we got out of college. Do you remember anything? Did anybody help us? Like, I don't even know how I got my resume. I just know one of the girls at school was like, here, use my resume. And I copied it and changed everything up. But that was my resume for years until I recognized people was like, your resume is trash. So these are the things that kids need. And I say kids because we're just older now, but young folks early in transition. And even more importantly, you got people who've been in their jobs kind of like how I was, or folks in their 50s and 60s who, like, they want something new, but they're scared. They don't know what to do. And when they interview, they're like, literally, I had a lady interview with me, and I said, tell me about yourself. That is an important question for managers, for people to know. And the first thing she said, she started telling about her whole family. My son is a police officer. My daughter does this, and I got a daughter down here. And I was like, good to know. But I was like, in my head, I'm like, I got to write it down. Like, this is not it. This is not going to get you the job. And those are the things that people need to understand. What to say, what is important, what are managers looking for, how to read managers, because that's a big thing too. Reading a manager to understand which way they're going, so you can pivot, but also be able to get on their side. Because some managers already they know who they want, and you can read that. So if you can read that, you might say, you know what, this might not be the job for me, and it's okay. Because every job is not for you. Every company is not for you. So those cultures are things that you got to take into mind when you're going through these interviews. So this is a huge piece of what I'm teaching people in the course.
Man, this is a beautiful thing, man. I'm proud of you, bro. I know you. I know who you are. I love the where we've come from when we was kids coming out of college. It's a beautiful thing you're doing. I'm proud of you. So as we wrap up, what's your social channels? How can people connect with you? How can they support?
I am Career Transformation Academy on everything except TikTok. At TikTok, it is the Blueprint by CTA. So that's the Blueprint by CTA on TikTok. But everything else, Career Transformation Academy on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Made it very simple to find that. If you do want to book a session, you can go directly to www.careertransformationacademy.com and book a session.
So you're coaching too. Ready. You're coaching people, so they can book with not just do the course, but they can actually speak with you.
They can speak with me. I'm actually the person they're going to talk to. If it's not somebody from my team, it's going to be with me. And depending on what course that they are most fit for, then they're going to speak with me a couple of times. It's not only just me, it's my team as well that's involved. So you get about 5 separate sessions within the course where you have one-on-ones also while you're doing the training. So we're literally hands-on teaching people and getting people up to speed, but we're also going to be monitoring and watching and seeing how well you're doing, but actually doing some assessments live one-on-one. So once we start getting everything rolling, there's weekly sessions as well. And then next week, I'm going to be like you. I gotta roll out this podcast so we can start getting people hearing and seeing what's important to the world and continue to keep this thing growing.
Man, I love it, man. And it's about supporting people. I'm franchising for the same reason, a little bit different angle. You got to spend a lot of money to franchise, but the beauty of it is that we're advancing people, first generation business owners and people that may not have done it, people that may not have gotten to that level in their career if they didn't speak to you. So it's a beautiful thing, man. We're going to throw your socials up on the screen so people can support, and please go support. And before I ask you the last question, this is important for me, man. I appreciate it. I cry a lot. I'm not going to cry on this one, but I'm proud of you, bro, because we got a history, man. And I want young men looking at this, young men of any race, any color. This is a relationship that we should have. You should be able to have platonic relationships with people that you've grown up with and advance with and support. This is normal. We got to stop the whole macho thing and not building with our brothers. I'm getting better at that. I appreciate Mark from everything he's doing. I appreciate your family, man. So last question. Where to go from here, man? What's new? What's next? And I know it's Career Transformation Academy and Taylor Plus One and your HR career, but what really is it that you want to leave on this earth if you die tomorrow?
Man, like I think you said, my purpose, one of the things I started writing down was, what is my purpose? And for me, is anybody that I come in contact with, I want to leave a mark that you have an opportunity to see a better version of you inside of you. I just had this conversation with a young lady the other day, and I was saying that that is what I like. That I enjoy doing it, but I know God has put that in my heart, my soul, my spirit to show people that you have a better version of you there. Can I leave an impact of who I am onto you? I pray that anybody around me feels success, feels glory, feels honor, feels the presence, you know, just speaking generally to them to actually kind of show them what value that's inside of them. So I want people to actually be their best selves. I want people to thrive in their best selves, because there's always a person inside of you you haven't met yet. And everywhere that we dream, you're learning to be that next person, because this person that you are now, you're going to have to say goodbye to and get ready to be that next person. And that's a very valuable thing that people need to understand about themselves. You are getting ready to evolve yourself. So work on being that next person, work on that inner value, work on meeting the person inside of you that you don't know yet. And that's how you get growth, man.
Awesome, man. Go check him out, Career Transformation Academy. Everybody needs to continue to grow. Mark and his team can help you. If you need T-shirts designed, Mark can help you. Or if you just need a shoulder to lean on as you're growing through your career and you want to connect, reach out. We are products of University of Richmond, Jim Reed's program. Coach Albert was our coach. Coach Burnham. That's just what we do, man. North Carolina, stand up. I'm proud of you, bro. Proud of you. Good citizens of the earth. We're out. Go connect with my boy Mark. And I love everybody. See you next time.
About life now, turn on the light now. The Emotional Pet Guy Podcast, yeah. Talking about life now, turn on the light now.